Hello and welcome to the Martial Perspective. We have a very special episode. It's New Year's Day, 2026, and I have the big kahuna, Professor Gary Lee, with us today. Gary Lee comes to us from the islands of Hawaii by way of Texas, and we thank you for having you on your show today, Professor Lee. How are you doing today?
Well, Happy New Year, John, and thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I'm very honored. Very
Oh, the
honored.
pleasure is mine, sir. So, Professor Lee has lived a life that many of us could only dream about. It was a very devil may care lifestyle that he lived. He grew up in Hawaii and he came to the mainland at a very young age. He started training martial arts while he was in Hawaii. And Professor Lee, I believe that you were adopted by a martial arts master. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I came to the mainland in 1969, and I settled in. Well, actually, I went first to San Francisco. I ended up in Greenville, South Carolina, and I I ended up running the largest discotheque back then when disco was popular. And I turned it into a rock and roll club, and then I moved to Texas in 1979, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, wow. So, what was your interest in martial arts as a young man, sir?
Well, my interest was my father was a he was a hardcore martial artist.
Hmm.
Might even call him samurai, and he used to fly a biplane for meditation. And one Sunday, him and my mother went out and they crashed, and I lost my parents. And
Oh,
I ended up, golly bum, I ended up chasing a volleyball over the hill in Honolulu. And
hmm.
I watched Bobby Lowe's Kyokushin karate class in the ocean. And I was mesmerized by karate. And I was young. I was like 5 years old. And they adopted me, basically. I got involved with them, and I stayed with Bobby Lowe and that karate group Kyokushin until I was 14. And Mr. Lowe, Sensei Lowe, sent me to the mainland, and that's why I got hooked up with Mr. Ed Parker and Mike Stone and John the Timidad, the
Wow. So,
three Hawaiians that were here already in the mainland.
oh wow. So you basically learned from the pioneers of the industry as far as American sport karate, correct?
Well, I've been around, golly bum. Uh, yeah. Bobby Lowe was he was the director of Kyokushin on in Matsuyama in Hawaii, and then in the mainland, I was involved with a lot of people. I got involved. I got involved, John. I hitchhiked across America 3 different times, and every dojo or dojane or quoon I could go to and work out, and I would, and that's probably the reason why that people know who I am today.
Yeah, you came
So
here with nothing but a pocket full of change and a surfboard, correct?
yes, sir. That
Wow.
and dreams. That and dreams.
So Professor Lee has been involved in martial arts as a very young man, and Professor Lee actually you use karate as a vessel to inspire others in the entertainment industry. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I was lucky enough to uh, work with Dollywood, Disney, Magic Mountain. I got Six Flags. I was a comedian, John. My
Yes, sir.
job was to make people laugh through my martial arts. And I got involved in movies a little bit, but basically I was a opener for various rock bands like Billy Idol, Beach Boys, Heart, Cheap Trick, Night Ranger. I opened up the Grassroots. I was opening up for rock shows at various music parks. That's how I got involved in the entertainment business.
Did you ever think that your life would have that big of an impact in martial arts, or is it something that you just wanted to learn more about?
No way, John. I just wanted to hit people. My job and my attitude was very simple. I didn't care about the trophies. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about the fame. All I care about was the fact that I could come to Texas and I could hit people many times without being arrested.
That's a good attitude to have. Um, how do you think that full contact sport karate differs from karate championships today?
Well, that's a good question because, in fact, this year in October, I'm honoring the founder of the Professional Karate Association, Mr. Joe Corley, and
Hmm.
two of the original PKA full contact karate champions, Mr. Jeff Smith, the light heavyweight world champion, and Mr. Bill Wallace, the middleweight world champion. And they'll be in Houston October 2nd and 3rd at the beautiful West Chase Marriott. And at the end of the show, I'll tell everybody how they get involved with that. But yeah, I believe that full contact changed the industry. But point karate, which I did for almost 50 years, is also changed the industry. So it's two different families without a doubt.
Now, do you feel that sport karate has gotten softer over the years?
Yes, I think it's turned into a game. You know, only 1% of Karate Do is sport karate.
Hmm.
99% is what we call Bushido, the code, the attitude, loyalty, friendship, character.
Hmm.
You know, people have forgotten about that, I think, because they're all about trophies, Hall of Fames, 10-3 black belts, and all that rigmarole. And it's not about that at all. I'm just glad that I made black belt. You know, I'm proud that I was lucky enough to make black belt, and then very lucky to come to the mainland.
Yes, sir. Now, is karate is it as big in Hawaii as it here on the mainland?
Huge, you know, huge. I mean, Lualawa, Kempo, a lot of the Kung Fu styles, you know, it's very popular. The
Hmm.
Japanese, Korean, uh, Chinese, Okinawa community is very strong. Of
Well,
course,
there's
the
a big
Hawaiian,
Asian influence over in Hawaii, correct?
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay.
Very strong, yes, sir.
So, gauging all your fights, is there one fight that you fought that sticks out more than anything to you, sir? Like of who you fought?
Well, it's interesting you say that too because I was talking to him the other day, and Mr. Billy Blanks, one of the great fighters in the 80s,
Hmm.
he had a technique called the cartwheel kick. And, you know, back in the 80s, there was a tournament called the Fort Worth Pro Am, the big five rated tournament. And, you know, it was the introduction of the 2 point kick.
Hmm.
Mr. Roy Curvin invented that technique because before then, there was only 1 point for every punch. And he invented the 2 point kick at his tournament where any black belt that would hit a legal part of the area would get 2 points, which was outrageous back then because everything was up to first and three before then. And Billy had this wheel kick, or not this cartwheel kick, where he would literally do a cartwheel and come down with an axe type kick with his heel. And I practiced and practiced and practiced against that kick. And Billy ended up knocking me out with that kick.
He knocked you out.
Oh, you're not that cold. I've
Oh,
been I've been knocked down a few times in tournament karate.
so you got knocked out by Tybo.
You can say that, yeah.
That's yeah. I heard he's an incredible athlete, and I heard he was a incredible point fighter. Is that the only time you ever fought Mister Blank or Grandmaster Blanks?
No, I fought Billy in Erie, Pennsylvania, back in the early '70s. When I first got here to the mainland. It was an AAA AAU tournament,
Hmm.
and that was before he became Tybo and famous and everything. And
That
but I've been very lucky. I've been around some incredible fighters. I've had to fight some incredible people, and but what's really great is that I didn't I didn't really start winning, first places or grands into the late '90s, and I retired in 2000, I think 2003. So up until the '90s, I won a lot of third and second places. you know, it
well,
was
it's
tough.
been said that you're billed as one of the most winningest full contact sport karate players there is. Correct.
Well, I won probably more third places than anybody in the universe. That's a
I won a
joke.
lot of third place, but I don't think I won as many as you.
Well, it was a time when there'd be 20, 30 people in one division. Not like it is today when there's only two or three or four, you
Hmm.
know. And when you took a third place or a second or fourth in a division of 30 or more people, you still did pretty good, you know.
I would say so. Out of 30 people,
Yeah.
third and fourth, I would take that all day long.
Well, I remember at the battle one year, I fought 14 times. I didn't even place.
Now that was the Battle of Atlanta.
Yeah, I think there's 109 heavyweights there that year.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
Now, did you ever get a chance to fight in the Ed Parker's competition over in California?
the internationals. Yes, I did. I was there in 1969,
Hmm.
and I fought. And that was actually the first tournament that I competed in when I first came here to the mainland. And
How'd you fare on that one?
third,
Third? Wow, that's still
yeah.
incredible. That's incredible. I mean, I don't know anybody that can go to an event where there's over 100 people and place. I mean, that's just fantastic.
Well, it was hard back then, but we didn't fight and didn't score like we do today. And the judges were different. I believe the judges were stronger. They're more educated than they are today.
Yeah. So, as a semi-professional, professional point, full contact karate point fighter, how do you think that played a toll on your body?
It played a toll. I mean, I had to constantly, stay in shape and work out, and I was very lucky to teach full time, and so I have some great students. I have a great wife that's been with me for almost 40 years, and she's been beside me. She's one of my black belts, and but it takes a toll. But you have to constantly be on the edge. It's kind of like always walking on the edge and keeping yourself balanced.
So, looking back on your career, sir, do you have any regrets with martial arts?
Sir,
What's
I
that?
didn't hear you what you said. I didn't hear
I,
what you said.
oh, that's okay. Looking back on your martial arts career, do you have any regrets? Do you have anything that you would change?
Well, I think I would have changed the fact that I would have avoided the rock and roll club, the disco era where I was involved with rock and roll, and I should have just stayed in karate. But Texas has been good to me. I've been here since 1979, and I've created a museum. I've got I've got a radio show like yours. I get to talk to millions of people a week on the show, and I got the big event I do every October
Hmm.
here in Houston. So I've been blessed. I really have.
So, you are the founder of the Sport Karate Museum Archives. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, I've had it for 30 years now, and people who are listening, they can go to www.sport, Sport Karate, Karate Museum, Museum Archives, archives.com. We have over 25 categories. We got a full online museum. It's really neat. We got the House of China, House of Korea, House of America, House of Japan, House of Okinawa, plus all kinds of cool things for people to
Yeah,
explore.
it's a phenomenal website. I implore everybody to check that out. What was your what prompted you to start that organization?
Well, I had an old instructor. He was well, people might remember as a movie star. His name was Mato, and he passed away, and then a few other people passed away. And I realized that if I didn't step up to honor these pioneers, I don't know who would. And I called a friend of mine named Mike Stone,
Hmm.
who was one of the people that helped me, in the early years. And together, we built this incredible online museum, and we've had a couple of locations, and we're fixing to have a huge location here real soon. But the online museum is really, really cool. Lots of cool stuff for all your listeners to
Yeah,
check
to
out.
link you to a couple different the main sites. There's one that's called the United States Black Belt Hall of Fame, which you currently belong to, correct?
Yes, I'm an alumni of that. In fact, the president, Dr. John Terry, comes to my event every October. We have a big, huge vendor show, and he sets up and he gives out. We recognize people around the country into the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame. See, we're
Uh,
an alumni, John. We're not a Hall of Fame. We're an alumni. So I
Alumni.
get to honor. I get to honor two or three Hall of Fames. I honor the the Blah Blah Magazine Hall of Fame, the Rocky DeRico, John Paul Mitchell Hall of Fame, and of course the United States Martial Arts Hall of Fame.
Now you've met world famous martial artists throughout your career, and I believe you were telling me you have a Bruce Lee story. Is that correct?
Well, the only time I ever met, I didn't really meet him, but
Hmm.
I was invited to a Joe Lewis seminar at Sherman Oaks Dojo back when I first got here to the mainland, and the place was packed. And I bumped into a little Chinese guy, and I walked in. I saw some of my friends. I go, "Wow, all these people here for Joe Lewis," and they go, "No, no, Gary, they're here to meet Bruce Lee." And I
Wow.
realized he was the one I bumped into on the way into the dojo.
Now, did he put on a demonstration that day?
Well, he did, but I got there late. I was
Oh,
there for Joe Lewis. I didn't get. I mean, I didn't even know who Bruce Lee was.
wow.
I went there for Joe Lewis. I wanted to meet Joe Lewis.
That's because you were spending all your time on that surfboard, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was very lucky. I got to hitchhike across America three different times chasing waves.
Hmm.
You know, and yeah, I was an avid surfer. Had a 5'7" Gordon Smith twin fin. That I would literally, when I hitchhiked across America, I had my surfboard, nunchucks, bows, size, commas. I mean, I was a hitchhiking karateka without a doubt.
So it's safe to say you're the original surf ninja, huh?
Well, Ernie and I, we talked about because, Ernie Reyes Jr. and Sr. made Surf Ninjas, the movie.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that because, they are the ones that made the movie, but I guess I am kind of like the original Surf Ninja.
So the the sport karate. Museum archives. It's actually endorsed by two military generals, as I understand. Is that correct?
Well, one general,
One
General
general.
Tom Mulligan, and two colonels, Colonel Steve Vitale and Colonel Phil Torres, who is part of my radio show.
Hmm.
And by the way, your instructor, Mr. A.J. Perry, is my military spokesman for the military group of our museum.
Hmm.
He is our actual official spokesman for all the military group that we have, and we give out a document that is signed by General Tom Mulligan, a four-star general, and two colonels. Steve Vitale, Colonel Steve Vitale, is the big brother of the famous Keith Vitale, and he was an amazing fighter back in the 70s. Actually, he was the first Marine to step into Afghanistan
Hmm.
back in our turmoil many years ago. And Colonel Phil Torres is a Silver Star recipient,
Hmm.
Vietnam veteran, and an amazing man. So yes, we are the only. We're really the only, I guess, part of the sport karate history that has a document that is signed by three powerful men. Yes.
That's incredible. So, as a young man coming here to the United States, who is your idol in martial arts and why?
Mike Stone,
Hmm.
right? Number one, Mike Stone. He was the first Hawaiian to come to America or to the mainland. He won 93 first places in a row. He created a Golden Fist Martial Academy Awards. He created the got about the Four Seasons tournament circuit, which ran in Cleveland, in fact, where you're from.
Yes,
And
sir.
he also was instrumental in many movies in Hollywood. He also brought in a man named Tadashi Yamashita into the movie industry. So Mike Stone was and of course Mr. Parker, Mr. James Parker.
Now, what was your relationship to Grandmaster Ed Parker?
He was a Kempo man, an original style called Kushuru Kempo.
Hmm.
And, the people from Hawaii, like Matosi and all the guys, they were influenced by, Mr. Parker was influenced by them. So when Mr. Parker came to the mainland and got involved what he did, he was very much my hero. I looked up to him very deeply. I think we lost him in 1993.
Hmm.
Yeah, but he was my hero without a doubt.
So, speaking of Mr. Parker's Kempo, or Grandmaster Parker's Kempo, there was a man named Tracy. I think was a student of Grandmaster Parker that branched off and created another or like a separate Kempo, American Kempo style karate. Is that correct?
Yes, it was Jim and Al Tracy, two brothers, that broke off and formed the Tracy's Kempo. I'm actually a seventh god underneath Mr. Tracy, who's gone now. But yeah, Mr. Tracy and his brother Jim, they changed the Kempo system too because they invented the private lesson. Uh, I
Hmm.
mean, they really did. They took it to a different level.
Now, you would you say that Tracy Kempo is as prevalent as Ed Parker Kempo today?
Well, it's well, Mark Al Tracy's son
Hmm.
is making it strong all around the world. But Ed Parker literally established a mainstay around the world. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
there are thousands of Kempo stylists. But people don't understand there's Kempo, which is Japanese, Kempo, and there's Kempo, Kempo, which is Chinese.
Hmm.
And then there's American Kempo, and there's three, and then there's Kaji Kempo, and you got Tracy's Kempo. So Kempo is kind of weird because it's got all these different avenues, you know.
Yeah, some might say that Kenpo is a little political in some aspects, and people are trying to make a name for themselves. I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, and the way he explained it to me, Kenpo is kind of fractured, and it doesn't have one leader per se, and he doesn't ever foresee them coming together and falling under one person again. Would you say that that's fair?
Yes, but you know the best way, John, to explain Kempo Karate,
Hmm.
and in all the interviews I do, I say the same thing. Kempo has all the fundamentals that all the other karate styles have, like Taekwondo, Shotokan, Goju, whatever.
Hmm.
But what makes Kempo different is the animal instinct of survival. You got the five animals: the monkey, the tiger, the crane, the bum. You know those animals are important. Then you got the imaginary animal,
Hmm.
the dragon. And with the five real animals, from the crane, the snake, the monkey, you do the moves, but the dragon kind of gives you the freedom to be to do what you want to do, and that's the freedom in Kimpo. So, but the animal instinct of surviving. An example, John, would be if a snake went into a mongoose's cave, for instance, to take the eggs, who would win? The mongoose or the cobra?
I
Or
would
if a
say the
monkey went
mongoose.
in there? Well, different animals are different ways. You think of a monkey being not a fighter, but a monkey is very vicious. A
Hmm.
snake is very vicious. But think about this a minute. Every animal has the instinct to protect its own. And in Kimpo, using those five animals as an attitude of protecting yourself, and then that imaginary animal, the dragon, you can literally do anything that your body allows you to do as far as karate goes. Now, I believe, John, one more thing, sir.
Hmm.
There's eight words that if you don't know these eight words, you don't really teach karate. And those
Hmm.
eight words are Kion, which is fundamentals, Kata, taking those fundamentals and making them pre-range movements, Bunkai, taking those katas and taking wazas and creating self-defense techniques. And then kumite, taking a tameshi, one technique, punch or kick, and turning into kumite. And then the last four words that most people take for granted: stop, maim, disable, destroy.
Hmm.
And those eight words: Kion, Kata, Bunkai, Kumite, stop, maim, disable, destroy. That's an old attitude, but that's the way I believe.
Well, I would think those 8 words would be prevalent in all most martial arts today.
Yeah,
I would say you can't have martial
I,
arts without those things.
I do believe, but I don't believe, but I do believe that most people take it for granted. Because, karate today has turned into show. It's sad that tournaments are a playground now.
Hmm.
It's all about trophies. It's all about fame. It's not about the originality of showing what you can do in a situation when you're confronted by someone that's throwing a punch or a kick at you. And then, of course, the street attitude. The street fighter is the most dangerous person in the world because the street fighter would do anything to survive. And if a karate person, not just a black belt, a karate person knows what he's doing, he should be able to defend himself against anything or anyone or any part of that person using to attack you, like a
Mhm.
weapon or something.
Right. So, my last question, sir, what's your opinion on learning more than one martial art? Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? And why?
Well, I think you should always, Kimmy, you should always focus on one, but if you have the opportunity to be around greatness or other instructors that can
Mhm.
teach you, yes, learn as much as you can, absorb as much knowledge as you can, and if you can pass it on, then that's good.
Well, it was certainly a pleasure having you on the show. I hope this isn't going to be the last time we talk. Like I said prior, there's few people in the world that I've ever met in the world that you have a conversation with somebody and it becomes memorable, something that I won't forget. And this is certainly one of those conversations. To my viewers, I implore you to go check out the Sport Karate Museum archives.com, and you're going to learn a lot more than you can bargain for. Thank you, Professor Lee, for being on the show. And I hope this isn't the last time that we're going to have a conversation.
John, may I say something before I go off?
Yes, sir.
You know, it's pretty amazing what YouTube is, if our listeners know what YouTube is. And
Hmm.
then go to YouTube and type in Sport Karate Museum or Professor Gary Lee, and they can see hundreds of videos from Black Belt TV, who I helped create, and all the shows and some of my fights. And it's really entertaining. And we have a new channel now called the Sport Karate Museum Archives channel. And but just type in Sport Karate Museum, and your listeners can enjoy the history of what we created.
Yes, sir. I will definitely put a link up in the Martial Perspective Facebook group, and I will put a link in the this video so that people can make their way over to your channel and check you out and see what you've done and see what your contributions to the martial arts are.
Thank you for allowing me to be on this show, John.
Oh, it was
And give
my pleasure.
if you talk to AJ, give him my love and respect, please.
I absolutely will, sir. I hope this isn't going to be the last interview. I feel that you have so much knowledge to give, and I want to hear as much as I can.
Well, all you gotta do is give me a call, John. I'll be here for you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Aloha.
Aloha, mahalo. Happy New Year.
You too.